What's up, guys? Welcome back to Project Time Garage. We're here today and we're about to make another bad decision. And we're going to make this poor decision because we're unsupervised, and that's our favorite way to be. Behind me is a 1995 Nissan Pathfinder. It's got a 3.0 V6, four-wheel drive, automatic transmission, a crinkle fender, a cracked exhaust, fairly rough, needs some paint. So it's got a lot going for it. So I figured I would take you guys with me today to pick up a project car and kind of show you how I transact business, how I negotiate for the very best deal on the car, and how I ask all the right questions that tells me whether or not I need this car in my life. So follow with me. Let's see if we can get this car bought for a song and a dance. If we can, we're going to get it loaded up, get out of here. So let's negotiate. It's very important when you're negotiating purchase of a vehicle that you ask very specific questions. That's the first thing. Also, you try and negotiate with the seller to achieve the very best deal you can. So watch how a pro does it. All right, how long have you had this thing?
A couple of years.
Do you think I need this truck?
You sure do.
If you were me, would you buy it?
You darn right I did.
You're asking $900 for it. What is your bottom number?
$900.
I'll take it. Okay, so all joking aside, there's the Pathfinder. So as you saw in the video, we got it for $900, and it wasn't a bad deal. Of course, the guy that owned it's been a friend of mine for years and years. You guys have seen him on all kinds of different things here, like the red F-250 Super Duty truck. I'll put a link up there somewhere where we put a lift kit on that. He also has a YouTube channel he works on some called Budget Fix Garage. But anyway, the reason I bought this truck, twofold. Number one, we kind of need a second car here. We used to have a Honda CR-V that I had bought cheap and had like 127,000 miles on it. I'd spent quite a bit of time and made the car just really, really nice. Just back original and nice, and all the little things that were broken and messed up I'd fixed over time. We used that car to pull behind we had a 40-foot diesel pusher motorhome, and we used that car to pull behind that motorhome when we would go camping and go places like that. That is until the RV met a pretty unfortunate mishap. A distracted teen driver crossed the center line and punched through it. Caused a lot of damage. But anyway, we didn't see any real need to keep the car at that point, so we sold it. And as soon as I sold it, I regretted it. I kind of knew that I would be hard-pressed to find a vehicle that was completely sorted and that I completely trusted for that kind of price ever again. And no, this isn't that, but it might be. I don't know. I'm in it cheap enough I can throw some money into it and make it pretty decent. The parts aren't expensive, and we've got a really good shell to start with. That being said, let me walk you around it, show you what the big flaws are, show you what we're going to work on, the things that we're going to fix immediately, and then maybe some long-term, spruce up and make it nicer type goals as we move forward. So come on, let's take a walk around this thing. And for that minty fresh feeling that lasts all day, make sure you subscribe to my channel. There's a little logo down there in the corner. Looks like my icon. Click on that, subscribe. Also, there's a notification bell down there. Make sure you click that bell. You'll get notified when we make new videos. All right, so we can start at the back. And of course, the first thing you're gonna see is it's really, really dirty. This thing's been sitting underneath trees for a while. The paint, it's fair. You see places like this, there are a lot of those on it. But luckily, it still has the cell phone antenna. Should we ever decide to put a cell phone back in this rig, we got the antenna for it. A lot of this this window trim and stuff is missing, coming off. So that's a down the road thing. The tires are excellent. He had put the tires on about a year ago. Interestingly enough, they are Pathfinder tires. Irony? You decide. Got more of the rust starting on the top. Overall, the body, though, is pretty straight. You know, all the windows are there. All the things that make it a vehicle are there. He put new hubs on it. Those, I think he used mile marker hubs on it, which is fine. All of these right here are starting to chip and flake. We're going to paint those, repaint them silver. Truck's been in an accident at some point in its life. Got into this flare a little bit here. Now, luckily, the truck did come with a new fender. Well, a used fender, and it's red. So that's one of the first things that we'll end up doing. One of the first things, not the first thing. We'll end up probably shooting that thing some Duplicolor color match white and hang it back on the truck. The grill itself actually appears to be in okay shape. I don't see anything really wrong with it. This headlight, it's having a bad day. Bumper's bent down here, missing a fog light here. Of course, like I said, the paint is extremely dirty, but it's basically straight. There's a few dings here and there, but it's straight enough for me. On this side, really, there's nothing crazy at all, except for one spot on the door. You can see up here, one spot on the door here. It looks like they got into something. Maybe they backed up and bent it back or something and tried to hammer it back with what appears to be a rock. Same story on this side. We got the window weather stripping coming loose there. Also down the side, you'll see places here where we're down into the body and into the rust. On the back side, it was missing the spare tire, but the wheel was there, so I've got a spare tire for it. I just need to hang that. Still got the wing on the back of it. Let's look under the hood, see where all the horsepowers live, all three of them. So under this end, it's basically what you'd expect to see out of a Nissan Pathfinder with a 3.0. Pretty straightforward stuff. The nice part is everything is kind of in its place and it doesn't appear that anything's been really tampered with or messed with. No hackery, that's what I'm saying. In other words, I haven't worked on the truck yet. Give it time though. That appears to be a fairly new AC compressor. I know the AC works on it. Battery 2018 does not hold a charge very well at all. We'll have to rectify that. Here, let's go look at the inside. Check that part out. On the inside, it's not too bad. We do have a few things, you know, that have to be taken care of. But overall, I mean, there look to be cigarette burns in some of it. But overall, it's pretty good. Missing a piece of trim that goes right there. Dashboard's cracked a lot, like a whole lot. Dashboard and all that stuff is actually in pretty decent shape. Steering wheel's in decent shape, starting to come apart there. The seats and upholstery are in pretty good shape. I mean, no tears, no problems there. The carpet is dirty. And I will say this, it looks like it is wearing its original Nissan floor mats, which is saying something, because normally cars lose that kind of stuff. As far as headliner goes, headliner's in pretty good shape in it too. And the back seats, they're in nice shape. Headrests are in good shape. Rear door panel's pretty nice. Much nicer than the front. Back here, it's like most SUVs of the vintage. You know, dirt, stains, extra parts back here. So, but overall, inside wise, it's passable. Not nice, passable. Since this is going to be a second vehicle, and since, you know, my wife could drive it at some point, or my daughter might drive it at some point, the goal here is to do the things that are important. Now, my daughter's going to need to be driving it pretty soon, like probably next week, because the Hummer that you saw in like this video, for example, well, it had a bit of an accident, and I have to spend some time putting that back together. During that time frame, that's when we realized that we really don't have a viable second car. We have 42 cars here, no doubt, but you know, my wife drives a Lexus, I have a Denali, so that leaves me with 2 diesel trucks, neither of which any of my family has any care to drive whatsoever. All these other vehicles that you see in the background of my videos, all those are tagged antique. So kind of you know, narrows the playing field a good bit. So we need another extra vehicle just for anybody here to use that's, you know, that's easy to get to and that's somewhat reliable. Making it reliable, well, that's the game plan. This thing, it's going to get a timing belt immediately because it has 181,000 miles on it. And I believe these timing belts set 150,000 mile interval on this particular 3.0. You guys who know more about the Nissan stuff, let me know down in the comments. I'd be curious to know who knows what about timing belt interval on this. I have the timing belt here. It's laying on the shelf behind the camera there. I'm going to dive into that this weekend. So it'll have a timing belt on it. While the timing belt's off, we're going to do a water pump. While the water pump's off, we're going to do a thermostat. While we're in that deep, we're going to go ahead and any heater hose that looks a little bit halfway questionable, we're going to replace it. We're going to go ahead and take care of all the other belts, air conditioner belt, power steering belt, alternator belt, all that stuff while we're in there. Once we drain the coolant to do the water pump, well, that's a perfect time to go ahead and have the coolant system flush while we're in it. So we're going to do that too. At that point, it'll just be your basic stuff like oil change, air filter, set of wiper blades, because those there look like they've been chewed on by wolves. And then this fender down here and this light. Both of these will have to get taken care of because the light shouldn't sound like that. And the fender, well, it doesn't have a spot to mount a light in it. And that's a sure way to get pulled over in my area. Anyway, so the truck came with another fender. It's a red fender. I'm gonna probably go ahead and grab some of that Duplicolor, perfect match stuff, and probably just shoot the red fender white, probably do a cheap clear coat over it. I don't know if I'm gonna take the time to mix up any clear for it, or if I'm just gonna shoot it out of the perfect match cans. I haven't decided yet. But anyway, that'll need to happen. At that point, it's just give it a good clean up. I may go ahead and spend a few minutes on it with a buffing wheel just to see what this paint looks like. There's a spare tire that I have for it. It had a wheel mounted on the back with no tire, and it drove me nuts. I kept telling my buddy that owned it before, I was like, man, you gotta get a tire for this thing. It's driving me crazy. So now that I own it, that's the first thing I purchased for the vehicle officially, was a spare tire to go on that ugly wheel that was on the back. There you go, budget fix. Let's see, what else does it need? I mean, really, I don't think it needs much of anything else. I'll go through and do a few little things to it, like, you know, throw some paint on that spare tire carrier back there because it's rusty and awful looking. But at this point, it'll probably be just a get it on the road, get it, you know, shook down, and see where we go. I'd like to take you guys for a ride in it now, but with that timing belt and the mileage on it, and me not knowing what the situation is with that timing belt, I'm not comfortable. So I'm going to do a timing belt, and then we'll take it for a test drive on that. Now, don't worry, this isn't replacing anything on the channel. There's still going to be Datsun 521 content, still going to be Starion content, still going to be diesel content, still going to be Toyota content, still going to be, what have I missed here? GLHS content. And there are two more vehicles here that have been here for quite some time that I've never really introduced to the channel. That will be the yellow 1972 Dodge Challenger sitting here. I'm sure everybody's been seeing this in the back of my videos since the very first one I made in my introduction video, which was here. But anyway, there's also a Ford pickup back there that just for a moment debuted, not even debuted, it made a cameo in one of my videos quite a while back where I was comparing my two Power Strokes. I'll link that up here. 74 Ford F100, 390 FE. I completely redid the thing, literally from nothing, frame and a couple of cabs and 3 or 4 beds, and assembled the thing here over way before I had YouTube. I wish I'd had YouTube, but I probably got 1 million subscribers off that video series alone. Anyway, I'm rambling, so that's the deal on this. We'll close this video out here, and the next video that we post on this vehicle will be a timing belt and some major under the hood stuff to make it reliable. So, guys, as usual, thank you for watching these videos. You know, if you like this kind of content, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button down there. I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. It really helps me out. I really appreciate it a lot. So don't forget, tell all your friends about us. Like, share, subscribe. Guys, I'll see you next time.